Early departure from the dream job. Burnout for new social workers. By Sandy Owusu-Mensah, Brianna Schmidt, Laxman Shrestha, Candace Thompson, Meryl Uno, and Anne Whiteley. We chose to focus our topic on burnout for new social workers in Canada. The term burnout has been defined in numerous ways, with definitions that usually include physical, mental, and personal exhaustion, depersonalization, and reduced feelings of personal accomplishment. Burnout can lead to health problems, a reduced sense of well-being, and lower job satisfaction, resulting in higher rates of turnover. New social workers have a unique experience in their careers. They lack the social capital, the technical know-how, and the confidence their more experienced colleagues do possess. They are also likely going through changes, from student to professional, perhaps changes within their family structure, and learning to navigate new norms. Social work students are prepared with the theoretical know-how from school and some experience from practicum, but their expectations of the field may be quite different than the reality of their new positions. Furthermore, prevention and intervention techniques have been applied to all social workers as if their experiences are the same, when perhaps new social workers need unique strategies for their unique risk factors and experiences with burnout. We are interested in the experience in Canada, as this area our group all live and will practice in. Social work is different across the world for many reasons, including countries' unique contexts, such as the professionalization and governing bodies of social work, the cultural and ethnical makeup of the country, the political context, the geographical context, the historical perception of social work, the social and economic situation, and many other details. And for this reason, we wanted to learn more about the unique experience of burnout for new social workers here in Canada. So why this topic? In our social location, as students about to graduate and embark on our social work careers, burnout of new social workers is a very important topic to us. While we have been in school and began our practicums, we have all heard horror stories of this elusive risk to our dream job, which we have all worked so hard to obtain. This has invoked fear and curiosity of how these risks and protective factors for burnout are different for new professionals than those with experience, and we aspire to bring what we learn forth into our practice. While this topic may seem somewhat self-involved, something that hits so close to home, the topic and the strategies to prevent burnout would benefit not only new social workers such as ourselves, but the social work profession, the clients, and society in general. Going into the research, we were all very narrowed in on burnout being about self-care or a lack of self-care, and through the process we have learned that burnout is not an individual issue and cannot be addressed at the individual level. Stay tuned to learn more. Burnout is a common topic in the literature, and prior research for burnout of social workers has been performed. However, there has been a lack of research on the topic of burnout for new social workers. Prior research for burnout on social work showed that being younger in age increased risk, and that burnout has been linked to a lack of social capital, stressful work conditions, and a lack of resources and support. One Western study on burnout in new social workers showed that new graduates were at a higher risk for burnout. However, this study is more than 2 decades old. A study in China showed that burnout caused social workers to leave their careers early on, caused by personal factors, work environment, and a lack of social support. But the experience of social work is likely quite different in China, where the field is just becoming professionalized, and this comes with its unique implications. The lack of recent and geographically significant research of burnout for new social workers in Canada signifies the need for more research in this area. New social workers have unique experiences of and risk factors for burnout, and thus research to inform interventions at the academic and professional level is needed to promote healthy, lengthy social work careers for those entering the field. This research on burnout for new social workers could be used as evidence to base practice on, with potential to address needs at the personal, educational, supervisory, professional, and legislative levels. The findings could call for further research, which could inform techniques for self-care, academic and continuing education, workplace supervision, and other protocols to limit the implications of burnout, as well as a call for change at the legislative level by showing the needs for resources to protect against burnout, as the impact of this problem has a ripple effect on society. Studying the causes, concerns, and experiences of new social worker burnout is not only important to the profession, but would indirectly impact clients in a positive way, as high rates of turnover linked with burnout take focus away from the more important social work in supporting the clients. There are always potential risks to research which we would aim to mitigate. One specific potential of harm that we would have to be mindful of with the research techniques we chose is that these results cannot be generalized. There would be a chance that the results could show burnout is less of an issue than we expected. If this was the case, this could possibly be a misrepresentation, and we would want to guard against the results being used as evidence to decrease or stagnate burnout prevention. As our study was on burnout, we also took into consideration that this is a sensitive mental health matter. As so, information about supports and services were offered to all participants, and they were made aware of their choice to end their participation at any time. There are also potentials to harm common in research, including ethics and confidentiality. As researchers, we were concerned with practicing ethically, respecting our participants' rights, and using ethical decision making. Being aware of potential risks to our participants' rights to confidentiality, we received informed consent from all willing participants. Also, in our transcripts and data analysis, no identifying factors about our participants were used, and all participant emails were deleted after research was completed. For our quantitative proposal, the research question was, what is the relationship between the length of career and burnout rates for child protection social workers in Calgary, Alberta? For our qualitative proposal, the research question was, how is burnout experienced for social workers who have left the field early in their practice due to unique risk factors at personal, workplace, and structural levels?
Our research design for our quantitative proposal was a cross-sectional survey. Grinnell, Enru, and Williams, 2018, explain that this research design is done one time with a particular population and does not include an intervention of some kind. Our emailed survey did just that, as it was a means of collecting information at one point in time that did not provide an intervention. The research design for our qualitative proposal was a narrative approach. Storytelling was an integral part of this research as it enables us to better paint a picture of real people in real settings. Hearing firsthand experiences of social worker burnout is an invaluable way to learn more about burnout and what the profession and individual social workers themselves can do in terms of protective factors. For our group's quantitative proposal, we decided to partner with CFS in order to obtain employees' email addresses, a brief demographic questionnaire, as well as the Maslow Burnout Inventory Human Services Survey, or the MBI-HSS, which is a Likert scale standardized tool to assess burnout, would both be emailed to participants and launched via SurveyMonkey. For a qualitative proposal, our group decided to collect data through semi-structured interviews as our research was based upon a narrative methodology. These interviews would include a list of loosely defined concepts such as the interviewee's definition of burnout, experience with burnout, and what they felt was lacking and present as a support prior to and during their experience. Throughout the data collection process, we ensured to note that we would go back and compare our results with the literature, engage in member checking and peer debriefing in order to ensure the trustworthiness of our research. For our quantitative proposal, our sample was recruited from Frontline Child and Family Services or CFS offices in Calgary, Alberta. The sampling method chosen for this study was a combination of availability sampling and disproportionate stratified sampling. Our ideal sample would include 100 participants with less than 5 years in practice and 100 participants with more than 5 years in practice for a total sample size of 200. These two categories were created in order to better understand the relationship between burnout and the length of one's career. We decided to email a survey to all CFS employees, and of the respondents who reply, a random selection will be made to fill each of the two categories of length of career. For our qualitative proposal, we decided to focus solely on social workers who have left the profession early in their career due to burnout, either temporarily or permanently. To acknowledge the multiple realities participants face, we decided to let them define what the term early means by not associating a number of years with it, unlike with our quantitative proposal. In order to target these social workers, we chose purposive sampling. We decided to partner with the Alberta College of Social Workers in order to distribute an e-flyer to recently registered social workers' emails. This e-flyer would explain our current study and will act as a call for participants. The key informants would be met for in-person interviews. In order to ensure that the research is conducted in a natural setting, these interviews would be conducted at locations convenient to participants.
Our quantitative proposal, our group decided to narrow in on child and family service workers in Calgary, Alberta, to determine the amount of reported burnout in relation to the years of experience for social workers in a similar work setting. Our team decided to design a cross-sectional online survey to understand the issue of burnout among the new social workers in this exploratory research. An advantage of online surveys is the ability to reach many people and a higher level of confidentiality and anonymity, which would result in more honest answers. Finally, online surveys are cost and time effective. For our qualitative exploratory research proposal, our team used the narrative approach through semi-structured interviews. On our qualitative research, we opened up our research population to social workers in Alberta to obtain a more in-depth perspective across practice settings. Because of the qualitative nature of this study, our team did not aim to work with a large number of participants, but sought to obtain in-depth information from a smaller number. Contrary to quantitative research, qualitative research can give us detailed information on individuals' unique stories.
For quantitative research, one of the main limitations was causality and exact interpretations of findings. Another limitation is its inability to be generalized to the larger population of social workers due to the fact that we are only focusing on child welfare workers who are at an especially high risk of burnout. Generalizability of results is also affected because we are not including social workers in our sample who have already left the profession due to burnout or those who have moved to other social work positions that are outside of CFS. Another limitation includes the fact that our design does not allow us to determine if one variable has caused the other, only if there is an association between the two. Since our survey will be collecting self-reported data, we will also face instrumentation error as the chances of inaccurate reporting cannot be ruled out as the participants' responses will be motivated by biases, cultural differences, or misunderstandings which can jeopardize the accuracy of the results. Our qualitative research poses a hazard of interviewer influence that GoCross 2018 explains can be due to the researcher's tone of voice, the phrasing of questions, and the comfortability with the interview questions themselves. Much like our quantitative proposal, improper representation of the target population is another limitation of this research because we cannot survey the whole target group, and therefore our findings will not be generalizable to the larger population. Also, not all social workers who experience burnout quit the field. Therefore, there will be a gap in these findings for currently employed new social workers and their burnout experience. One unique limitation of the qualitative research proposal is the amount of data collected could be very voluminous, which might be costly and time-consuming to interpret and analyze. Inaccurate reporting can also not be ruled out, similar to our quantitative proposal, as participants' responses will still be motivated by the biases, cultural differences, or misunderstandings that they have, which will jeopardize the accuracy of the results.
For example, a lot of us went in here thinking that burnout was due to a lack of self-care and that it could be cured by self-care. But upon looking further, we can really see a complex issue with complex answers. By knowing this and further researching this issue, it is something that we could use this information to strive for justice around this, because an atmosphere that does not protect a social worker from burnout really is a social justice issue, as a burnt out social worker is not going to be an effective social worker, which impacts the clients we serve. From researching burnout, it truly did heighten our own passion around this issue as we see the reach of its impact and how the individual is often blamed for and is made to seek solutions for something that is more than the individual's problem. We also realize that we have been naive at a point to think this won't impact us, as we read about how impactful it is and how it is more than just the personal attributes of the individual. Thank you for reviewing our presentation. We wish you the best as you embark or continue on your social work career and hope this presentation has served well in informing you on this important topic. This hypothetical research proposal process really nailed home the fact that research has to be done in a process. Initially, we tried to split up our categories between members, giving each member assigned tasks, but we quickly realized the need for collaborative practice between the members in a specific order, the same as real research. We were all really flexible about this, but it did come with challenges as we could not work independently, which is hard when we all live in different areas and have technology hurdles to work through, as well as different time zones and work and life schedules. We also learned that some of us were more skilled in some areas, so we were flexible around this, allowing people to really own in on their skills such as speaking, technical details, literature reviews, compilation, or editing. We also began to learn that research gets easier as you go because the literature review was easier the second time around. We also had to remember the reality in research proposals that they are never perfect the first time, and they often go back for revisions multiple times before they would be complete. As far as bringing this forward to our career, the course and the project has helped solidify the reality that research is part of social work, but that it is not as intimidating as we thought. From this process, we really learned the importance of research because at the core of evidence-based practice, which is our duty as social workers. We also see that research can be such a tool as it can help us to fight for social justice.